Hey everyone, this is Aquila, just doing another demonstration of a game that I made for my advanced game programming class for my second semester of my graduate diploma at Unitech. So this one is a bit of an interesting project. The tools used were C++ as a coding language, the SFML media library for the purposes of getting a general sort of game architecture involved, and more importantly, we've got Box2D, which is, you may have heard of it before. It's a pretty decent sort of basic physics engine that can be used for applying physics to objects without having to actually do the work of coding all of those physics elements yourself. Yeah, it's the same sort of engine that things like Angry Birds would have used, so if you've played that, then you might have some idea of kind of how that functions and how sort of nifty that tool can be. So let's just go ahead and fire up this game over here, and we can have a look at what we've got here. So I did this in a team of two, and my teammate wanted to do a mini-golf course, and so we ended up doing something along those lines, and trying to sort of use Box2D to get that to work in some sort of kind of reasonably cohesive manner. So this is a generic sort of level that we've designed here. I did the level here, whereas my teammate did most of the sort of Box2D elements and pretty much most of the programming elements, actually. But what I was sort of tasked with more was the level design and the saving and loading functions. So even though this is a mini-golf course, the sort of main selling point of this particular game here is that it has a level editing sort of function as well. So so we've got our ball here, and you can see that if you right-click, then we can jump it there. So actually, let's make this a bit easier, and let's look at the help menu. So here's all the different controls that you've got. F1 obviously gets you that help menu. We've got D for the sake of changing the direction in which you're putting it with. We've got a space bar that allows you to sort of charge that power meter and increase or decrease the putt power based on your timing. We've got arrow keys, scroll wheel for world scrolling and zooming in and out. We've got F5 to save the level and F6 to load the level. We've got escape to exit the game and delete to clear the world entirely, and if you want to open up the designer, then we've got F8 to open up that designer menu. So let's get rid of that. So as I said, you can right click to jump. If we let it come to a standstill, because you're only able to put it in a particular direction once it's in a state of stop. Now if you hold down space, then it'll start charging that power meter, and based on how red that is, you'll get your power. And it's just as soon as you release the space bar, that's when it actually will end up firing. So so let's just jump up, and we'll try and get that over here. And basically the main point is just to try and get in that hole there, so let's just wait for it to come to a stop again. And let's get a little shortcut, and okay, now we're pretty good. It's just a matter of getting in the hole, and there we go. So yeah, that's pretty much the main game. Let's just restart that application so that I can show you some of the other features. So so if we press F8, then we've got the designer menu, and that is the main sort of tool that we're going to use for level editing. So what we can do is we can click one of those shapes, and then the zooming control will function the same as it used to be, but the shape won't change, so you can use that to scale a little bit. You can also hold down control, and that'll also do scaling, and you can also hold down you can hold down shift, and that'll allow you to rotate things, and then once you've got the shape that you want, then you can just right click, and then it'll place it there. So you can't do anything with regards to controls while you're in the designer menu, so let's exit that, and as you can see, that new shape that we created is already part of the level. So I'm not going to save the level just at the moment, because I like the sort of level that we've got designed there. But basically, if I go to the file that that we have been using to sort of save all of that level data, then it is in the form of an XML file. So if we have a look at that XML file, then you'll see that all of the data that we need for Box2D to be able to generate these levels and generate all of those objects in the positions and with all the properties that we want, all of that data is just stored here in that XML file. And yeah, that's the main sort of basis of the level editing that we've got there. So if we just restart the application, and let me just familiarize myself with the controls again. So if we want to clear the world with delete and then load the level with F6, then oh whoops, I ended up closing that. Let's just restart that. So if we press delete, now you can see that the main sort of basis of the level has been removed. We're just left with this bare bones sort of skeleton and a few sort of static objects that have been sort of left in there, and also a few kinematic objects, which are these ones that have been given a script to work with, and they're just going to keep doing that until the end of time. So if we just press F6, then we can load back the level there, and then it just uses that XML file to take the data that's in it, and then we'll just load that level right back up. So that's basically it. It was a pretty fun project. I'd done little bits of file input and output on the first programming paper that I did, which was the Programming Fundamentals paper at Unitech, and that was actually before I'd done my before I was doing my graduate diploma. So that was actually the first real programming assignment that I was doing, and that was kind of what sparked my interest in programming, because yeah, it was a fun project, and I sort of started realizing that I had a decent amount of skill in it. So file input and output is something that I hadn't really been looking at for a very long time, but obviously with regards to video games and even just other sort of file saving and that kind of thing in general, file input and output is a pretty important thing to know. So it was good practice for that, and yeah, pretty good experience all around. Anyway, that's enough rambling for me. I think you've probably got the main point of this assignment and what was sort of done in here. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you have any questions, as always, just feel free to contact me at aquila.halpe.net and just check out the contact page. So yeah, once again, thanks for watching, and hope you have a good day. Catch you later.